crops to grow. It's farming without herbicides, without pesticides. I learned from my dad learned from my grandpa. My grandpa learned from his dad too, you know? It's our way of life, really.
So when I'm in the grocery store and I'm shopping for my family, are vegetables fresh?
We're talking about at least 6 days on a truck before they get to your local grocery store. I wouldn't consider vegetables or fruits that have been on a truck for that amount of time to be considered fresh. Our products are grown basically right in my backyard and come straight out of the field. There's no time waiting around in the back of a truck. There's no time spent sitting in a grocery store waiting for you to pick it up. It goes directly from the field into our processing facility in a matter of hours.
That really is farm to table.
It really is. It's as close as you can get to picking product right out of the field.
And the outcome is a really amazing, nutritional, delicious product. Congratulations.
Cheers.
I take my responsibility of what my kids put into their bodies very seriously. It's extremely important to me that Grown American Superfood is organic. It's certified organic. I feel like I'm protecting them, right? I'm protecting them from the evil pesticides. This product, it gets picked and then it's only a few hours until when they start to take the whole food, the whole fruits and vegetables, and make it into the Grown American Superfood powder. So I consider it very much a farm-to-table product. Adding a scoop to smoothies and other foods like spaghetti sauce, but within this pasta sauce, the spaghetti sauce is another 1.5, servings of fruit and vegetables, and the kids are eating it and they don't even know. So I think it's brilliant.
I find it challenging, especially when I'm on the road as much as I am, to get what I know is the right amount of fruits and vegetables in my diet. So to have the superfood on hand to kind of add to things that are quickly prepared was just fantastic and really improved my overall feeling of well-being. It wasn't like any of the other green superfoods I've had on the market, which don't taste fresh. So whatever they're doing, keep doing it.
When you shop in the supermarket, you don't really know where your fruit and vegetables are coming from. They can be imported from third world countries, grown in polluted fields, sprayed with harmful pesticides, or genetically modified. And just how fresh is fresh produce? Leafy greens can be kept in cold storage for up to 1 month, and then shipping can take days, weeks, even months longer. It's kind of scary. But every fruit and vegetable in Grown American Superfood is grown in America, certified organic, and farm to table fresh in every scoop. That's why it's better than fresh.
Sometimes, even though you think you're doing a good thing by buying organic, you don't necessarily know where it's coming from or the conditions that it was, grown under. With this, they only want it to be American and the best for you. So you know exactly what you're getting. They say it's farm to table fresh, but they should really almost say that it's better than fresh. It has an insane amount of fruits and vegetables in it. It's just, fresh. You take a sip, it's just like biting into an apple.
Most Americans don't get enough fruits and vegetables because it's hard. You're on the go. It's expensive. It takes a lot of time to prepare. Grown American Superfood has done all the work for you, right? They have all the great organic, great parts of the whole fruits and vegetables in there and none of the things you don't want. So I don't have to shop around for hours looking for my organic produce, my organic fruits. All I have to do is scoop it out.
I absolutely see a prescription pad saying 1 glass Grown American Superfood each day. It's what I call the pharmacy, because we're bringing the farm in a way that heals and can energize your body. Food can be a poison. Food can be a medicine. To just start every morning with a scoop of Grown American Superfood, 30 organic fruits and vegetables, very powerful.
Why wouldn't you want to do that? Why wouldn't you right now, today, want to start doing that for your body when you know the impact it can have on your health and in your life? A scoop a day helps keep the doctor away.
Are you eating superfood or super junk? Introducing Grown American Superfood, organic, whole superfood nutrition made simple. Grown in America, USDA certified organic, farm to table fresh in every scoop. Just 1 scoop of Grown American Superfood is the fast, easy, delicious way to double your servings of fruits and vegetables every day to help improve your chances of better health and a longer life. Only Grown American Superfood has a full 1.5 servings of healthy, life-giving fruits and vegetables from a unique blend of over 30 certified organic superfoods packed into every Applelicious scoop. And today, it's super free. Call or go to grownamericansuperfood.com now to receive a 2-week supply of Grown American Superfood absolutely free. You only pay shipping and processing. And that's not all. Call in the next 10 minutes and you'll also get 2 amazing gifts absolutely free, including Dr. Kellyanne's Grown American Recipe Booklet to transform everyday meals into super meals. Plus this convenient shaker cup, perfect for families on the go, after a workout, or to keep in your car for an instant healthy pick-me-up. That's a total $50 value, and for a limited time, you get it all free.
Call 1-800-340-3773
Or go to grownamericansuperfood.com now to try Grown American Superfood free.
That's 1-800-340-3773.
Call or click now.
So in this package is kale, is apples,
Spinach, wheatgrass, barley grass,
broccoli, celery, Brussels sprouts,
Quinoa, and there's buckwheat, and there's lentil and flax sprout, sunflower.
strawberry, cranberry, orange, cherry, lemon, pear.
So in one scoop, I'm getting 31 fruits and vegetables. I could pay $10 for a smoothie and not get that.
Every time I open the package, I feel like I'm doing something good for myself and good for my family.
You can put Grown American Superfood with all the fruit and vegetables into meals that kids love. You know the kids love pasta, it's in the sauce.
Wow, wow. It is
Scoop
super
in the
sauce.
It's super sauce, it really is.
What about the pancakes?
1 scoop in the batter and look what you
Superfood
make.
pancakes.
Superfood pancakes that taste delicious. Who would not want to start their day with that?
I would love to.
And smoothies. So I love smoothies, and what I love even more is smoothies that have superfood in them.
It's crazy because no kid will know that there's green and
You just won't.
fruits
Again,
and vegetables, but
1
boy, does
scoop.
that look good.
Sending your kids off every day with nutrition, and you know what? That makes me feel really good.
Yeah, me too. And I think this is going to be a great way to add health and nutrition to your family, starting 1 scoop in all of these wonderful examples. Thanks so much.
Yeah, Grown American Superfood.
it has definitely helped with my exercise. And I found that this just gives me an extra boost. My ability to go, 20 minutes longer on something is there. And I think that's, again, not coincidental. I think it's real. I buy in completely to the, the farm to the table concept. This is chock full of goodness. I mean, as hokey as that sounds, that's what it is.
I have 6 children and 5 grandchildren. We have tried juicing in our household, and then we found we had to go to the grocery store every day, buy the fresh fruits and vegetables, and then we made this whole mess of the kitchen. The process just took way too long. When I found out that Grown American Superfood was 31 fruits and vegetables shoved into a little scoop that you add some water to, I was amazed. It's simple, it's a wonder drink. It's a quick and affordable way to get my family to eat the fruits and vegetables they need every day. I've made pancakes with the Grown American Superfood. So I used to say an apple a day keeps the doctor away, but now with Grown American Superfood, I feel like a scoop a day keeps the doctor away.
Grown American Superfood is grown in America and certified organic. Farm to table fresh in every scoop. And today, you can try it free. You and your family, you deserve the best. You deserve to look and feel amazing. So give Grown American Superfood a try. And I can assure you, you'll be glad you did.
I just incorporate it so easily into my day. It's quick and it's easy and it tastes good.
It's fresh from the farm to the table.
I can take this with me and just add water and it's ready to go.
It's organic, whole superfood nutrition, made easy.
I do believe that drinking Grown American Superfood is making me healthier. I believe that without a shadow of a doubt.
That's what we want to do. The products that come off this farm, we want them to benefit people and help people. That's what life is about, trying to honor people, honor God, and caring about people.
Want to supercharge your body and live a longer, healthier life? Superfood fruits and vegetables are proven to help you stay healthy and even live longer. Introducing Grown American Superfood, organic whole superfood nutrition made simple. Only Grown American Superfood contains an amazing blend of fruits and vegetables that are 100% grown in America, USDA certified organic, farm to table fresh in every scoop. Just 1 scoop of Grown American Superfood is the fast, easy, delicious way to double your servings of fruits and vegetables every day to help improve your chances of better health and a longer life. Only Grown American Superfood has a full 1.5 servings of healthy, life-giving fruits and vegetables from a unique blend of over 30 certified organic superfoods packed into every Applelicious scoop. No more wasting time and money to shop, chop, prep, cook, or juice and clean all this every day. Just 1 scoop of Grown American Superfood in water, juice, your favorite milk, or yogurt makes a delicious, energizing superfood smoothie in just seconds.
It's a powder, but it tastes farm-to-table fresh.
You take a scoop, you put it in your glass of water, you shake it, and you go.
100% of the fruits and vegetables in Grown American Superfood are organically grown in America's heartland by one of our family of trusted organic farmers. With everything you want in your food, including super leafy greens, super vegetables, super fruits, and super sprouts, and nothing you don't. No added sugars, no fillers, no GMOs, no gluten. Plus, it's only 25 calories per scoop and so delicious, you and your family will love it. Every fruit and vegetable in Grown American Superfood is organically grown in America by one of our trusted organic farmers and gently dried to lock in the freshness and goodness. That's why it's better than fresh. Grown American Superfood is super fresh, super delicious, super fast, super affordable, and super good for you and your family. And today, it's super free. That's right, free. Call or go to GrownAmericanSuperfood.com now to receive a 2-week supply of Grown American Superfood absolutely free. You only pay shipping and processing. And that's not all. Call in the next 5 minutes, and you'll also get these 2 amazing gifts absolutely free, including Dr. Kellyanne's Grown American Recipe Booklet to transform everyday meals into super meals. Plus this convenient shaker cup, perfect for families on the go, after a workout, or to keep in your car for an instant healthy pick-me-up. That's a total $50 value, and for a limited time, you can get it all free. But you must call or click right now. So energize, revitalize, and transform your life with Grown American Superfood free. Call 1-800-340-3773 or go to GrownAmericanSuperfood.com now to try Grown American Superfood free. That's 1-800-340-3773. 1 order per family, please. This is a special limited offer, so call or click now. A scoop a day helps keep the doctor away. The proceeding has been a paid presentation for Grown American Superfood, brought to you by Trusted Therabotanics.
Do you know of a place that has 100% all-natural, grass-fed Black Angus prime rib, a delicious spicy tuna steak, and great ambiance with killer wines and margaritas? Lorenzo's Grill. Best quality, exceptional ambiance, and margaritas to die for. Whether it be tenderloin, ribeye steaks, or all-roasted Black Angus beef, your best choice is Lorenzo's Grill, 4412 Washington Avenue.
You and Dave seem like newlyweds.
Dave's in great shape, but we had issues when it came to getting intimate. But one visit to Men's Clinic of America and everything changed. Energy, stamina, desire, it's all back and then some.
How can I get Dan on this?
Go online to mensclinicsofamerica.com or call 713-588-1420.
Will do. Looks like we're gonna have some extra innings tonight.
We always do.
Hello, and welcome to the Hippocrates Health Institute in West Palm Beach, Florida. Each week, we host about 60 guests in our unique, lush, healthful environment. We teach the Living Foods lifestyle, which focuses on a diet of organic, living, raw foods such as sprouts, green juices, vegetables, sea vegetables, and soaked and sprouted grains, nuts, and seeds. We employ wheatgrass juice, a powerful cleansing and healing agent that expedites the healing process remarkably well. Hippocrates is not only a health center, it is also a health school, showing how live foods and increased oxygen improve on the state of your health. The Institute was started in 1955 by Dr. Ann Wigmore, who healed herself of cancer and shared her wisdom with people who wished to heal naturally. In addition to the Living Foods diet, we focus on all the aspects of a healthy lifestyle. We analyze your blood, and a personalized program will be developed for you. Thousands of people have healed themselves by giving their bodies the nutrition needed by every cell and eliminating the toxins that create disease. We know that our immune systems have been designed impeccably. It's just that no one gave us an owner's manual for the proper care and feeding of our amazing human bodies. In this series of programs, you will learn about the inner workings of the body, the importance of detoxing and eliminating, how to best use supplements, how to live practically and healthfully with the combination of the foods we eat. We will answer scores of questions our guests ask about the Living Foods lifestyle. We invite you to join us in person for the 3-week Life Change program we offer at Hippocrates Health Institute. You can reach us at 800-842-2125. Also at 561-471-8876 or on the web at www.hippocratesinstitute.org. Welcome to the Hippocrates Lecture on Bringing It All Home with Brian Clement. In this program, Brian inspires us to take a long view of the healing process, to align our attitudes for success in reaching our goals, and to recognize various cycles of healing. He gives practical advice for integrating the Hippocrates lifestyle and suggests tactics for responding to family and friends about your new choices. Now, let's join Brian Clement for the 10th lecture of the Hippocrates Health Series, Bringing It All Home.
One of the very first things that I'm asked here at Hippocrates and when I travel around the world, how am I going to do this program in the real world? Well, we have to rethink that question. Quite frankly, the real question should be, how do I live in a sick world in a real way? And there's one word that comes to mind, and it starts with a C, and that's commitment. If one commits themselves to healthful living and raises their health and self-esteem, there's absolutely no question that you can live in that very sick world. That pretty much says health care is, after you've gotten so sick or gotten in an accident, there's crises management. A system that basically says one shouldn't take drugs, but the use of alcohol is proper. One that thinks fast food is enough to nourish a body and a brain. One that literally thinks that it's fine that half the population around Western Europe and the United States and Canada can drop dead from heart attacks and stroke. Well, let me say to you, I don't think that's normal and I don't think that's right. So the real question, once again, is how do I live in a sick world in a real and healthy way? Now, to get commitment is a very interesting process. Most of us know what we're not capable of. When I sit with people and counsel them, I could literally spend hours and hours talking about all of their problems. And even the most optimistic people, if I look at them in the eye and say to them, tell me about all your successes, if I get 5 minutes from them, I'm surprised. So we all think in negative ways. How do we raise ourselves to become committed? We create realistic goals that are reachable. When you come to a place like Hippocrates or read our books and want to employ this program that's proven itself over the last half a century, quite simply, if you raise up the level of goal and say, I'm going to tomorrow come off the Western diet and get on a 100% raw diet that's organic, vegetarian, most people are going to fail, utterly fail. And it's going to be another sabotage in their life. They're going to say, oh, see, once again, I'm a failure. If you say to yourself, hey, I'm going to take 1 year, providing I'm not very ill. If one is very ill, they must immediately embrace this, but the laws of physics prevail. We've seen, at least over my 3 decades of work, that people who are seriously ill have the ability to rapidly move forward and change. But for most people listening today, in 1 year, I will reach my goal of being on 100% raw vegetarian food. If you just change by approximately 8% a month, at the end of a year, you'll be approximately 100% off bad food and go on to a 100% raw diet. Now, that's certainly attainable by every single one of us listening today. And that's how we know we can raise our self-esteem so that we can commit ourselves to a healthy lifestyle. Now, the other thing that you're going to face is that the best friends you have, your family members, etc., no matter if they're your husband and wife or children or neighbors or whoever is in your neighborhood or community, they're going to become your enemies when you start to do the right thing. Now, this is the oddest part of the process. You would hope and believe, we think intellectually at least, that people would embrace this and say, my God, I want to follow what you're doing. I want to learn from you. But they don't, because they don't have the same desire, nor should they possibly at this point, to do what you're doing. Rather than encourage you and promote the idea that what you're doing is right, they're going to discourage you and try to bring you back to the old lifestyle that made them feel comfortable. Birds of a feather flock together. So if everyone's doing the wrong thing, everyone feels comfortable. When one of you are doing the right thing and the rest seemingly are doing the wrong thing, that's why they want to bring you back down. So how do we deal with that type of a situation? Well, let's play act a little bit and see what we may do. Let's imagine I'm a typical man, and I'm sitting here with my clicker on my right hand and my potato chips and my beer on my left hand, and it's Monday night, and I've been married to my wife for 30 years who have just come back from a 3-week stay at Hippocrates. She's all charged up, raring to go. My God, she looks sexy. I haven't seen her look like that in years. Her cheeks are rosy, but here I am, the typical guy. What am I doing with a clicker? On Monday night, watching a football game. Now you got the picture. But every Monday night for the last 30 years, we've been going out to Joseph's Steakhouse. And we're going to do it. I'm a little bit upset because my team lost. I'm getting up now, ready to go. You see the belly here? And up we go. And then we say, come on, babe, we're going to Joe's. Now, this is the time of reckoning for those of you listening today that are committed people with integrity enough to live well. That realize the first priority in your life is to save yourself so that you can have the rest of your life be good. You can come out and give a speech to this man. There's 3 basic choices. This is the first choice, and certainly a bad choice, of how he should never eat a cow or a steak again forever. Is this an appropriate time for him? Certainly not. It's not going to work. Why I know that is I gave that speech for the first decade. And why people give those speeches, by the way, is not because first you want to help the person, because just like your friends and family members that want to bring you back to where you're going to make them comfortable, you want to bring everyone up to where you're going to be comfortable. Wouldn't it be nice if you arrived home and everyone was eating living food, organic food, and drinking wheatgrass juice? Sure, your life would be easy. So in a way, you have the same disease of wanting equality, no matter be it good or bad. So that's not a good advice, to go to somebody who hasn't committed themselves to make these changes and try to convert them and commit them. The second one is, and this is an interesting one because most people don't think of this option, is while he is watching the television or whatever it may be that your friends or family member are doing, you're quietly, not with a big sign saying, look at me, I'm a vegetarian, I'm better than you, but quietly, without anyone knowing it, eating organic food inside of your kitchen. Now it's time to go to the steakhouse. Guess what? You can go to steakhouses, you can go to bars, you can go to hot dog stands, you don't have to partake. And you quietly have your little belly filled, and you always can find a little bit of vegetables there. And as a good friend of mine who worked with me in Boston, one of the Cabots, she was our counselor in Boston, said one time, women are supposed to be conversationally brilliant, and we learn to muss up our food. Well, that applies to men too. Just keep talking. Now, very rarely will anyone notice because they usually eat food by the vacuum cleaning approach, as I said, sucking it up. Notice that you're not eating. But if anyone does, the most famous book that was ever written by our founder was called Be Your Own Doctor. So your answer, quite simply, when somebody attacks you and says, how come you're only eating at Joe's Steakhouse salad? My doctor told me to do it. Why? Because you're your own doctor. True story. Now, that will wipe out 99.9% of the troops, because once you say the word doctor, it sort of makes everyone a little uncomfortable. Let's not approach that woman or man and ask anymore. If the doctor wants them to do it, they may have a disorder, a disease. Do you follow? And this is how you do it. You're not in the business of fighting. The third approach, quite simply, now you may have a more 90s, 2000, 2010, 2020 guy who basically is sitting here on Monday evening with Perrier water with a twist of lime, popcorn with no butter, and watching Wimbledon. Get the picture? Now, it's time of reckoning. He goes to get up. He only has one time. He has a little belly. He gets up and says, darling, notice the difference? Darling, it's time to go out to Joseph's. Now, you have a chance in this case. And the chance, quite simply, is you can approach him and say, have you heard that Alice has just opened up a vegetarian restaurant on the other end of town? He may think for a moment, and you have a 50-50 chance. He may say, okay. Now listen, let's not get hog wild. When you get into the restaurant and open up the menu, don't order the wheatgrass implant and a green drink for him. Look and see if they have a soy hot dog with sauerkraut. Do you follow me? This is the approach. So slowly but surely gather the energy. And so maybe a year or 2 years down the road, he himself will order, or she herself will order, that green drink. And this is the approach. But your commitment is at the core of this. Your commitment, by the way, we're using the subject here of how you live in a healthy way out in that sick world. But commitment is really everything in your life. Our failures and our successes are either failure, lack of commitment, success, always committed. There's never been any success in the history of humanity that hasn't come out of true commitment, an impassioned commitment for something. Because commitment has a word ahead of it and a word after it. The word ahead of it is what? F. Focus. First, you must focus on what is most important to you. Again, your priority. Then you commit to that. And what is the last word after that? Or words, I should say. Follow through. First, you must focus on what you want. Second, you must commit to that. And third, you must follow through until you what? Achieve it. And that's how it works. Another thing I want to put in your mind, this is the first time in history anyone tells you that it's good to have gas. Let's explain this. After you go from focus to commitment to follow through, you've reached your what? Goal. You've reached your goal, which in fact does what? Precipitates you to act. Once you've reached your goal, you have to act so that you have success. That's what real success is.
I'm Adrienne. Are you a great salesperson that's in a dead-end job going nowhere? Take the first step and call me now. Join our exciting world of advertising professionals. They're on their way to financial independence, and I'm here to show you how. Call now, 713-785-1300. Success is at your fingertips. Learn the ins and outs of creative advertising and social media.
So let's go through the process once again. First process is focus on what's most important. And the one thing to all people listening all over the world today, really, you may not know it, the most important thing for you is to be well and healthy psychologically and physically. Because if you don't have that level of biochemistry and brain chemistry working in you, you're not a full, happy, productive, and bright person. It's that simple. So focus on health if you don't even know what to focus on first. Commit to it, follow through, you reach your goal, you act on that, keep moving, you will succeed. And that's how you succeed with anything, be it the way you eat, the way you think, etc. Now, with all of that said, when people arrive here, quite often because we have the Western marketer's approach to reality. We all have been very well-trained consumers. Certainly all throughout the West, we are great consumers. They pretty much have you believing that you all need things that you don't need. But with that said, the medical faculty and the pharmaceutical industries have literally convinced you that pills, and the vitamin industry, by the way, has literally convinced you that pills take away all ills. So if you have any problem, you take a pill, and the advertising shows it. You always see a very distressed person. You remember the pictures you see on the commercials? Very distressed person, white, pale, hair's a mess. They look like they were hit by a Mack truck, a lorry. And they take the pill, the next thing you see, the hair is combed, the wind is blowing, it's a blue sky, they're the sexiest looking person you've ever seen in your life, and the message is the pill does it. So when you come to Hippocrates, you expect, well, I'm spending the time, I'm spending the money, or you've read the book, or whatever it may be, I'm going to get well immediately. If it takes you many, many, many years to get sick, don't expect you're going to get well instantly in a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It's an impossibility. That's magic, and we're not in the business of magic. We're in the business of truth. One unbelievable fact should make everyone feel good when you hear this. The human body, just a physical part of health, completely is new in how long? 7 years. Now this is really remarkable. And this is a one issue that we can present on the table when negotiating our future health. Listen to these facts. These are really interesting facts. The human heart actually regenerates in 30 days. That means if I take your heart out today, analyze every cell, place your heart back in you, take it out in another 30 days, guess what? Totally new heart. Not one cell is there that's there today. Remarkable. Human lungs, 70 days. Now, they're slow-moving areas, and even the brain, which, thank God, not so many years ago, the Swedes showed us, yes, even brain cells regenerate. Every part of the body regenerates. One would ask, if I have lung cancer, then why doesn't the lung, when it's going through this process of regeneration in 70 days, the cancer go away? Why we have such things as cancer? The mutagens are the opposite of the cellular order of healthy cells. So when the healthy cell is regenerating, if it's doing it in a very proper way, what's going to happen is the interior part of that cell will look like sandpaper to the mutagen, to the tumor, but it's not going to take the tumor away in 70 days. But slowly but surely you erode that with the sandpaper effect of healthier and healthier and healthier tissue. Now with that said, when you arrive at the idea that you're going to eat well, finally we're going to eat well, and I mean eating well is what we're discussing here. Unlike other organizations or theology around the world that have ideas and sell books, we have a half a century of research. Everyone that comes here we do blood tests on. When they arrive, when they leave, and for the rest of your entire life for no charge, through the mail from every corner of the globe, you send blood tests and our physicians sit and analyze them and we counsel you. So now we have data that goes back decades. So when somebody suggests that we are doing this anecdotally, pardon me, this is not at all anecdotal. Thousands and thousands of cases of watching the progression of what happens to the human anatomy, and I may say psychology, which we can speak about later, in the progressive way of doing the right thing. This diet is the diet that humans were meant to eat, period. Is it a smooth ride from that moment you make the commitment to get well? Well, no, it's not. And those of you that have been here at Hippocrates know you may have come in here feeling fairly bad, and the first 4 or 5 days you're here, you feel really bad. Why? Because thank goodness at the beginning of this whole thing we call the human experience, somebody was wise enough to say, these people are a little bit nutty. They're going to do horrible things to themselves. So let's give them a purge valve. Let's let them do the buzzword, detoxify. And so you're doing surgery without opening the body. And the remarkable thing is, if one eats clean food that nourishes you with a high liquid content, which all living food has, a very high liquid content, 80% or more, what we're literally seeing is, along with aerobic exercise, which will speed up that detoxification by 8 times, not 8%, but 8 times, one is going to be purging and purging and purging rather than extracting with a knife surgery. So you may feel worse at the beginning, and then watch what happens as you go closer and closer to that 7-year period. It gets much smoother. Now, why I bring this up, quite simply, it's the evolution of healing. Somewhere a year or 2 years or even 3 years down the road, you may be finding yourself laying on a couch, whereas for the last 3 years you've been feeling remarkably good and every day feeling healthier and younger and looking better and losing weight and gaining weight and all the things we do when we balance our life. But you may be sitting there for 2 or 3 days and thinking to yourself, my God, I'm sick. And usually with the human feebleness and our consciousness and awareness, we're going to say, it's not working. I'm sick, it's not working. If you're sick in many cases, it is working. Remember that. You must go through layer after layer after layer of healing. And it may have been too much for the body, as it is in most cases, even with so-called healthy people, to purge you all at once. So the organ that had a lesser problem may have taken 2 years or 3 years to wait. When I was a young man, I used to do something called cave diving, and I think this is sort of like for insane people. And that's where you get diving equipment on, you take a rope, and you go to these pristine caves, and some of the finest in the world are in northern Florida, where literally many days I would look out here on the land, and it was a pretty good view, but you'd get underwater, you'd have a better view. It was cleaner visibility under the water. That's how pure they were. And you get down to these caves, it's velvet black, pitch black. You see nothing except what your flashlight exposes. And the fun part and the most secure part is you're going through these little veins, these little openings, and you're squeezing your way through, and that feels best, believe it or not. The scary part is that you hit these large caverns, and most often that flashlight doesn't find the wall that's opposite from you. Now, every time I was floating in midair in velvet pitch black, I was frightened, and what did I think? Just like the guy on the couch that was feeling sick. I want to go back. So don't go out and eat the bad food when you're feeling one of these free falls. Find the other wall, find the next hole, get secure, and keep going. And that's how life should be actually pursued.
College is great, but before you enroll, which do you think is a better way to earn your degree? Live on campus in a dorm where you can't sleep, with a roommate you can't stand, attend lectures that you can't hear, with cafeteria food that you can't eat, or learn online at Independence University. On the porch with your puppy, in the kitchen with your kitten, on your bed with your bunny, your campus is wherever you want it to be. That's Independence University. And you'll also get a laptop and tablet to use in school, and you can keep them when you graduate.
1-800-503-9750.
For over 5 years, this is your chance to correct your status. LDA 911 is here to help you. Since 1991, we have been serving the community with immigration, accidents, or criminal cases. Call us here at 713-266-1300. Correct your situation today. Call LDA 911 at 713-266-1300. TexaVision is here to help you. Just call us 713-266-1300.
So this is the first 7 years. This is the physical. Now, most of you listening today, this is a major challenge for you, the physical. The major challenge. This really, the physical, has to do with two basic areas. The first one's obvious, what you eat. The second one is exercise. And the first 7 years will primarily, not totally of course, primarily only have the capacity to deal with what you eat and how you exercise. This seems overwhelming to a lot of people listening. This is the easy one. Believe it or not, this is the easy one. Physical, what am I made of? Then you go from the 7-year to the 14-year cycle. If this is the physical, what do you think this one is? Watch. Whoa! the emotional. The emotional, who am I? Now, am I suggesting that the first day that you negotiate that you're going to do the right thing, even if it's physical, that you're not dealing with your emotions? Of course you are. You must deal with your emotions. That's why half the work we do here at Hippocrates deals very seriously with one's emotions. Because if one doesn't have the capacity to like herself or himself enough to do the right thing, they're not going to eat correctly or exercise the body, if you understand what I mean. So we do deal with this, but what I am going to say, and I'm going to say this loud and clear, and I hope that you listen and understand what I'm saying, that we truly do not have great and grand possibility to deal with our emotions until we have tamed and healed our physical body. Because your physical body will literally call you back, continually call you back to deal with it if you don't deal with it. When I was overweight, I didn't look in mirrors, I didn't like myself, I was gasping as I was walking upstairs. If you're too skinny, the same thing. If you have pain, pain is the ultimate example of what I'm saying to you. If you've done enough wrong long enough, you're literally going to have pain and your body screaming out, listen to me, listen to me. And so please, this is why people that do all the emotional work but eat incorrectly, it doesn't matter. They're never going to be well. And we're going to go through this process. So the first 7 years is primarily that. Second is emotion. What am I made of? Who am I? Does it stop? Not at all. Then we go from the 14-year to the 21-year cycle, which is a spiritual cycle. Watch this one again. Now, when we speak about the spiritual cycle, we do not always have to mean or implement religious training in that. Religion can be obviously spiritual and has historically been. But too often in our cultures, in our society, we've taken the heart out of spirituality from religious theology and dogma. On the other hand, there's many very devout religious people who are very spiritual. Then there are people who have no religious understanding, and they're also spiritual. But what I can say to you, after all of the work that we've done here with people in the healing process and the recovery process, that every single one of us must have a spiritual aspect of who we are to be well. It's not good enough to eat right and exercise, good enough to just feel good about yourself and be positive. You must also now have an understanding that you're part of a larger whole, a bigger picture. And that's what we're now discussing. Now, when I started to understand this a number of years ago, I looked at it and realized we're talking about a 21-year cycle. Now, in the world that we should have had and hoped to have in the future, there would not be a need for a place like a Hippocrates Health Institute. It's a little absurd we need a place for grown adults to come and learn how to live, frankly. That we have to write books on how to do these things. Or we have to make videos to teach you how to do it. In the world that we should have had, is mom and dad would have been the first teachers of how to live well. They would have taught you to eat healthy, raw, organic, living food. They would have taught you to exercise and honor the human body. And as you went through the school systems and the religious systems and the spiritual systems, they would have taught you, for instance, to be secure, not by being condemned, by starting with your parents and then the system, when they say to you, how come you don't do as well as your brother, or the man sitting next, the boy sitting next to you, or the girl sitting next to you, they encourage you and say, oh, isn't that wonderful? You got to see, let's work together, the next time we'll get a B. That's how we develop emotional stamina and stability. But how many of us listening today have had that happen to us? Little to none. And then on the spiritual level, what we often hear in the dogma of religion is a separation and segregation from others. The elitism that you come in a lot of religious training that tell you that this religion is the only religion and everyone else is really going to burn in hell or something's wrong. Spirituality is endless potential. It is not limitation. And this is why we as human beings have limited ourselves, because our largest scope of understanding, the spiritual scope, is being limited by our own lack of awareness.
This is a special report for people who want the facts about reverse mortgages without the hype. You've seen a lot of commercials telling you how you can turn the equity in your home into tax-free cash.
You do what you do.
But do you really know
I do what
if
I
a
do.
reverse mortgage
You
loan
trying
can
to
help
stop
you?
people like
Call
me to
today.
go eat
For a
somewhere
limited time
else. So
only,
you mean
we'll
to
send you
tell
a
me
free
that
special
you never
report.
wanted to
Reverse
try a regular
mortgages,
type of
facts
food?
without the hype.
Barbecue?
Did you know that not everyone over
Well,
62 can qualify?
have a
And you
special
can choose to
ingredient
receive your
authority.
money monthly
Pescatore
or in a lump
marca.
sum. Call us today and get all the facts you need.
And
You'll speak with an
I got a
experienced
banana
reverse mortgage
pecan pie.
advisor who will give you honest
Capiche?
answers to your questions
Understood.
and even provide a free personalized assessment. This is a big decision. Get the facts with this free special report. Reverse mortgages, facts without the hype. There's no obligation, and the call is free. So don't delay.
Call 1-800-959-2513.
Don't let us come and looking
That's
for you.
1-800-959-2513.
If you want to feel the warmth of a nice family restaurant, don't hesitate. Come to Tony
Drug
Rendon.
or alcohol dependency
Visit
can be a
Tony
hard
Rendon
thing to come to
in
terms with.
Midtown.
It can affect your job, destroy your marriage, and ruin your life. If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction and finding it hard to take the first step, the Addiction Recovery Group is here to offer free help. We can help you with immediate admittance to a treatment center near you. And due to the recent changes in healthcare, your insurance may cover up to $30,000 in treatment costs with no out-of-pocket cost to you. Take that first step. Call now and get the help you need fast and confidentially. If you or a loved one is losing control due to drugs or alcohol, the Addiction Recovery Group is here to help. It only takes one phone call to start getting your life back to the way it was. The call is free and there's no obligation. Make today the first day of the rest of your life. Call now.
Call 1-800-845-3881. That's 1-800-845-3881.
And so together in 21 years, if we had the parents and the educational system and the spiritual systems that were there to support and nurture health and well-being, as a young woman or young man, as you were leaving home and going out on your own, you would have been prepared to live in a well world, a healthy world, to bring up children in a healthy way. But since unfortunately that hasn't happened, we have to start the process now. Now when I'm teaching this, quite often I see in the audience the 30-year-olds and the 20-year-olds and the 40-year-olds, they're all disappointed. They thought, again, go back to the commercials, they would do this and instantaneously be well in a week or two. And now I'm saying not only not a week or two, not only 7 years or 14, now we're talking 21 years. But what's really, watch the 90-year-olds who say, isn't that great because now I have to live well over 100 to learn how to do this. So the truth is, it doesn't matter that we have to start over again. What really matters if we're willing, capable, having enough integrity to start. Our life is up to us, not to anyone else. There's no such thing as somebody going to heal you. We have never healed one person in all the years we've done this. But what we do is facilitate and support you in every possible way we know how, so that you can heal yourself. And when you take that responsibility, not lightly, but fully, completely, and commit yourself to that understanding, there's nothing that you're not capable of. I can assure you of that. Every single goal that you want to reach as you evolve through that goal-setting, goal-reaching process will be attained. I've never seen an exception. Over the years, we've seen people that have surprised us in their recoveries. And every single one of the people that I know that have committed themselves to themselves and to life, have evolved and been contributors to the human race. So we'll answer about 5 questions now for anyone that's interested in asking a question.
Yes, I have a question. If you're a meat eater, but you're eating like organic meat, and why are you saying that you should eat a vegetarian diet? Don't you get enough protein from the organic meat and digest that and move it through your system?
Well, let's start with the idea of meat. Somehow in our cultures, because in the West we've been long-time meat consumers, although we're the minority of people in the world, that over 60% of the world's population is solidly today vegetarian, and most of them are vegan vegetarians. What meat eating has become in our culture is red meat or made from steer cow. Fish, as well as chickens, are all also meat, containing the most dangerous of all fats, animal fats. Now, the only way we contract cholesterol in the human body is by consuming these chickens, cows, which would be red meat, or fish. Equally could be pork and lamb, etc. Or your own liver, because of disorder of some type, can create its cholesterol. With that said, it's cholesterol that reduces oxygen in the body. And for many, many years, long-standing, probably a good century in the cutting edge of science, we understand that oxygen is the element that literally retards and eliminates pretty much all forms of microbes and mutagens, cancers. And so this would be the very first reason one would not want to consume any forms of those meats. Lobster, by the way, and chicken quite often give you much more animal fat than does a steak, which most people don't know. Second, the concept of organic meat is interesting because when we have raised animals for human consumption, which is a bad idea to begin with, we've actually taken these animals and placed them in factory farms. And when you read about this, even if you're a large meat consumer, as I was when I began all of this, it would stop you in your tracks and think, my gosh, I'm taking antibiotics and steroids and infections. And the biggest infecting so-called food that we eat are from animal sources like this. Most of the E. coli bacteria, etc., come from animal sources. It would make everyone think for just a minute and put yourself vulnerable. What would be the difference between organic and non-organic? Well, there's been one very good study done on that. They looked at chicken as an example, what they call free-range or organic chicken, where they don't put them in pens and pump them up with drugs and antibiotics. What they do is they let them run around in the farm as they would have done 100 or 200 years ago, eating grass, etc. With those chickens, because they've all been hybrid chickens, meaning they raise them and raise them and raise them to be larger animals for slaughter to make more profit, that 50%, it was 52% to be exact, of those chickens also had cancer in them. And if you look at the work of Dr. Virginia Livingston, who spent 40 years of her life on transmission from chickens into human bodies cancer, the Livingston Institute in California, I believe it's in Escondido, literally she shows you that even after cooking a chicken, it has this leukemic virus not only causing leukemia, but everything down to liver cancer that transmits into the human system. Beyond all of that, there's an environmental factor. The environmental factor is that when you consume one cow, which a good Western family could easily do in a year, you're taking up 50 acres of land where you could literally feed tens of thousands of human beings in a much healthier, much more protein-rich way. Now, lastly, the Hippocrates diet, living food diet, is the most protein-rich diet on the planet Earth. Without putting animal fat in you, where do you get your protein? From germinated nuts, seeds, grains, and beans, from the use of saltwater algae, seaweeds, and freshwater algae, chlorellas and blue-green algae. These are pre-digested proteins within 15 to 30 minutes, which regulate blood sugar, give you massive amounts of protein, and this is why we've been so successful in raising the time of Olympic-level athletes, etc. And over the years, we've worked with this, watched the timing, followed people up, etc. So the use of meat is sort of a misconcept. And if you look at the landmark study done on that, which was conducted by Oxford University and Cornell University, and it was published as called the China study. Any fine library in a university or major city would have this. The China study, Oxford Press. They went out to finalize what humans should be consuming. Now, of course, there's a lot of theory that one should do this and another should do this, and there's different types of blood. All of this stuff is misunderstanding. These were the landmark studies ever conducted on human diet with no bias. These were not health food people going out and telling you what health food to eat.
Do you suffer from diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, cancer? You don't have to suffer anymore. True Balance Purified Alkaline Microcluster Water is packed with electrolytes and antioxidants. Order True Balance Water today and receive free delivery to your home or office. True Balance Water. Change your water, change your life. Call now.
Attention blood clot filter patients. Surgically implanted blood clot filters are potentially life-threatening. Some filters are prone to breaking, resulting in pieces of the filter moving through the body and causing internal bleeding. If you had surgery to implant a blood clot filter, you may be entitled to a cash award, even if you haven't suffered side effects yet. Call the Gold Shield Group now, 800-797-4140, to see if you qualify for a cash award. That's 800-797-4140.
After this long study, and why they called it the China study, they needed to establish a culture, a group that was born and died in the same area for hundreds and hundreds of years. That's a hard thing to find in our world today. And where they found a solid group like that was northern China, that literally for millenniums have lived in the same area and not moved. The rest of us listening, most of us, half of us move every couple of years. So if you have a mailing list, as you know, half of that mailing list is changed within 2 years. Once they got the control group in northern China, they compared them to other Chinese people, Japanese people, North American people, European people, and all over, Indian people. And this study said that every man, woman, and child on earth should be a vegan, no animal food vegetarian, because they were the longest and the healthiest eating people. And to put a cherry on top of that lovely sprout group I just spoke about, this institute, the very first longest lasting institute, natural health center in the United States and Canada, for thousands and thousands of people, this has turned around and saved their lives because we've placed them, beyond other things, on vegan, vegetarian diets, one step more on live diets. So that's why no meat, there's no need for meat. This readily gives you the food value of protein much better than any other source that you can get it from. Anyone else have a question? Yes.
How would one go about getting enough essential fatty acids on a raw food diet?
Well, that's the most simple thing to do beyond getting protein. Quite well, because when you take a seed or a nut or a grain or a bean and you actually germinate them, you sprout them, what happens is that they break down to more simple components. Now, this is an interesting thing to see, so let's draw it up on the board. When you take that little seed and soak it for 6 hours or 8 hours, it germinates for a couple of days or 6 days, depending upon what we're germinating. All proteins are broken down to what? Amino acids. All carbohydrates are broken down to simple sugars. And all fats, this is where your answer comes in, are broken down to fatty acids. Fatty acids are usable forms of fat, which, yes, your body needs. So this idea that we have to have salmon oil, which is rancid and a carcinogen, or you have to take fish to get it, which, by the way, also is a carcinogen because they cook the fish when they're consuming it. And even if you eat sushi, which you have a very wonderful way to get parasites and amoebas from consuming, the reality is far better, far more available will you get fatty acids from germinated nut seeds, grains, and beans. Now, of course, you can get a little bit from consuming nuts themselves or avocados themselves, but I don't want my body to have to do all of that work. I'd rather have my body's energy making me have a better day, a happier day, more athletics, etc. Better mental acuity, and that's what I want to use my energy for, not digesting food. Okay, who else has a question? Yes.
You mentioned a couple of times cancer. You said that the lungs, I believe, after 70 days, the cellular level, they are regenerated. And you also said that this new cell, they work towards the cancer as a sandpaper, and eventually they're going to destroy it. I wanted to know from you what you think about a product like Laetril, vitamin B17, that some people, they have experienced good results with it when you are in a situation, of course, of cancer. I'm not talking about getting better on another level.
Okay, you asked about a few things that are often used in natural cancer treatments. Now, a number of years ago, about 25 or 30 years ago, there was a study conducted within the field of natural healing that literally was out to prove to the United States government that we were getting great results from the use of injectable Laetrile, which is really called abscisic acid, or B17. And we were so surprised after this long study that cost lots of money that we found that people that were just getting injectable Laetrile and not changing their lifestyle had absolutely no significant change in their cancer. Whereas those people that went to clinics or health centers, often outside of North America, the United States, and where they changed lifestyle and did the injectable, of course that's where they got changed. So it actually subtracted Laetrile as being the reason that people were getting well. Now, let's go one step further. The discovery of Laetrile, or abscisic acid, was initiated inside of apricot seeds. They're a great source, but there are other sources. Now, there was never a heavily funded study, but some smaller studies worldwide that show us that the consumption of foods with abscisic acid in it, the food that has the most happens to be wheatgrass, by the way. Wheatgrass is the #1 source of abscisic acid of any food we've ever tested. But again, a good second would be the use of apricot seeds, raw, of course, apricot seeds. They were getting benefit, but nowhere near the grand idea that we had in the alternative field back 30 years ago. Well, along with a healthy lifestyle and combinations of things, and with the discovery of phytonutrients, we realized they contain large amounts of phytonutrients, but in combination with other phytonutrients from other sources of food and nutrients and even supplementation. That's how we go about it. And there's many other ways. Of course, here at Hippocrates, when we're dealing with everyone, it's pretty much to get the immune system to work. I don't care if one is healthy and young here and wants to stay young and healthy, or if somebody comes here with a disease such as cancer, our first and foremost objective is to boost the immunity. And abscisic acid Laetrile really isn't the first and foremost way to do that. It's a helpful way, phytonutrient-wise, to raise that up.
80% of addicts don't think they need treatment, and they are wrong. Some are dead wrong. To recover, you are going to need to ask for help. You are going to need treatment. So call now and speak with a representative of a treatment facility. Think you can recover without treatment? You want to bet your life on that? Your addiction can end with one call.
1-800-519-2512. 1-800-519-2512.
Now there's a hose that's just as tough as you are. It's called the Hercules hose. It's built out of steel, and it's the toughest hose you'll ever own. Say goodbye to heavy hoses that tangle, kink, and break over time. You can try, but you can never kink the Hercules hose. Hercules hose comes complete with a lifetime guarantee. So don't be afraid. Pull it under any fence or over even the sharpest razor wire. So whether it's extreme heat from this blowtorch or the bite of a 400-pound man-eater, nothing damages this hose. Now you can get your 25-foot Hercules hose for only $19.99. Oh wait, order now and you can double the offer to 2 Hercules hoses, plus get our Mighty Blaster Fireman's nozzle. Just pay a separate fee. Upgrade to our 50, 75, or 100-foot size and get our quick reel to store your hose absolutely free. Order now.
Call 1-800-259-8156 to get your special offer, Hercules Hose. Call or visit byherculeshose.com. So call 1-800-259-8156 now.
Okay, any other questions?
You mentioned wheatgrass, and I know that wheatgrass is a very important part of Hippocrates. Can you talk a little bit about what the benefit is of wheatgrass?
Well, wheatgrass is quite interesting. First, there has been a lot of confusion that surrounds this subject over the years. We may have even added to some of that confusion by some of the writings we've had over the decades. We've said wheatgrass chlorophyll has the same structure as a hemoglobin in the human blood. Let me expand on this. All chlorophyll is the same, be it comes from wheatgrass or a plant, a house plant. They all have chlorophyll in it. Grass growing in your lawn has chlorophyll in it. So the restatement and the correct statement to clarify this would be all forms of chlorophyll are very much the same structure as the hemoglobin in the human blood. There's one significant difference. In the center of your blood, you have iron. In the center of the chlorophyll, you have magnesium. which is an interesting fact. When one is consuming wheatgrass, quite often when they observe the detoxification process, they often find long strands of white mucoid that are coming out of their bodies. Your skin is actually releasing large amounts of waste. And when you look at that, either microscopically or when you can look at the larger expansion, the magnesium, which actually acts as a magnet, as a center molecule of that chlorophyll, is pulling in bacteria, viral loads, as well as mucoid and plaque. And so that's where it's pulling it together. Whereas your blood would never do that. Your blood is a carrier of nutrients. Your blood is a carrier of oxygen and other nutrients. But it's not really going to magnetize as chlorophyll will. So chlorophyll, blood, hemoglobin in the blood, and seawater, interesting enough, are very, very similar in composition. That's your first. So it's almost in a way like getting an inoculation of blood every time you take it. Next to that, it is very high, the chlorophyll, in what? Oxygen. And we said earlier that oxygen is the main component in killing microbes and mutagens, cancers and viruses and bacteria and fungus, et cetera, right down the list. And so that's another added attraction. Now, why wheatgrass chlorophyll? Now, this is where wheatgrass distinguishes itself. With the discovery of phytochemicals, phytonutrients, which are literally the most profound study in the history of nutritional science, it dwarfs everything else if we put it together. This one finding dwarfs it. Because we now know that vegetation, plants, raw plant life, fruits, vegetables, sprouts, etc., contain chemical elements that literally are there to prevent disease from coming into your body. Or, if you have a disease, to erode and chisel it out of your body. Now, this is remarkable when you start to think about it. The wisdom of nature. That if we were to consume those foods that literally were meant to be consumed by humans, that it actually went as far as not only nourishing us, but protecting us of diseases. One step more, which is more interesting to me, is that some diseases which we've just discovered, or maybe even created from improper living, are being treated by phytochemicals in vegetation that began tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of years ago. That's really remarkable to me. So the wisdom within nature was that even diseases they're going to create because of their stupidity, these humans, we're going to take care of it thousands and thousands of years before it even happens by putting it into plant life. Isn't that interesting? So wheatgrass, out of phytochemicals, we've so far estimated there's about 70,000. And from the Israeli studies on this, from a physician who healed herself of breast cancer on the Hippocrates program, we now realize how it deals with carcinomas, melanomas, sarcomas, retroviruses, most forms of bacteria. And this is really remarkable when you start to think about it. Plants do this. But once you heat these plants up to about 115 degrees or 42 centigrade, all of these phytonutrients are neutered. They're gone. They're dead. And so these plants must be consumed in their raw state, vegetarian. Now, have we found phytochemicals anywhere other than, even though we've looked at it for over a decade now? No. The only place we find phytochemicals, the protectors of the human being, and probably other creatures, are in plant life. For vegetarians, that's what we need. Now, this is really powerful convictions as to why one of the many powerful convictions to why one would consume these foods.
Have you been in an accident? My name is Michael Wadler. I'm a board-certified personal injury trial lawyer. I can help you. Call me.
Yes, we can help you. Please call us at 713-266-1300. Once again, that's 713-266-1300.
you been denied credit or hit with high interest rates? A low credit score happens to many of us, especially if you've struggled with medical bills, divorce, student loans, job loss, and more. And millions of people are victims of incorrect items on their credit reports and don't even know it. This leads to a lower credit score. That's why you need Credit Repair now. We'll communicate with your creditors and the credit bureaus to address unfairly reported items, late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies. And that can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has resulted in past clients seeing on average 11 negative items removed from their credit report and a 40-point increase after the first 4 months in our program. Start working on your credit today. Call now to start repairing your credit score so that you can work toward getting the things you want, like a new car, new home, an education, or new job. Plus, call now and request your credit report and credit score for free in minutes.
Call 1-800-891-1038. That's 1-800-891-1038.
Anyone else have any questions?
A friend of mine has been telling me about positive attributes of broccoli, both eating it raw and juicing it and drinking it. Could you tell me something about that?
Good question. Now, broccoli is among a family we call cruciferous vegetables, cabbage and its offshoots. You have in that group Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, kale, collard greens. This whole group has a very high sulfur content. Now, who became interested in this a number of years ago was Johns Hopkins University, one of the great research centers globally. And they told us in the early days of their research that, yes, we should consume large amounts of Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cabbage, etc. Why? Because it was absolutely retarding and fighting off cancer, preventing it from coming into a human body and helping to eliminate it when it was already contracted in the human body. They went further then to take the seeds of broccoli, sprout them, germinate them, and showed us that dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of times more benefit came from consuming broccoli sprouts than the broccoli itself. They were so convinced that they actually called this research the most significant anti-cancer agent that they'd ever discovered in the history of anti-cancer agents. And that included pharmaceuticals. These are pharmaceutically trained physicians that literally are looking to do research for pharmaceutical future medicines. They went to then the United States government and unlawfully, as far as I'm concerned, went and got a patent on broccoli sprouts so that Johns Hopkins University, for a period of about 5 years, had the sole ability to prescribe, yes, prescribe, and distribute broccoli sprouts, and systematically went around and won in court systems in North America for little tiny companies that were growing broccoli sprouts because they had the right to be the sole distributors. Interesting. It wasn't until very recently also that finally an ethical and honorable judge in the state of Maryland in the United States stood up and said, you cannot patent nature, and debunked that insane process. I will say to you that broccoli sprouts, as well as even more so, such things as onion sprouts and garlic sprouts, are so anti-cancer, and one step more, antimicrobial, and one step more, anti-cardiovascular problem, that if one could consume these in small amounts on a daily basis, it would be to great benefit to every single person listening today. And many people may say, I don't like the taste of these. Taking a very small amount and mixing them into other foods, a salad, etc., a juice, it will be negligible. You won't even taste it. So yes, the use of all of these cruciferous vegetables are very, very important. Anyone else have a question?
Water is very important for the body. What kind of water do you suggest we drink?
That's extremely important. A number of years ago, it seems we're talking a lot about government again. A number of years ago, governments around the free world went to the petrochemical industry and literally said that, I want you to add an ethyl to your gasoline because it's going to be less polluting at that point. Sadly, they were totally wrong. In one case, the petrochemical industry said, the oil industry said, you're wrong. But in spite of that, they forced them to do it. The initials of this chemical is called MTBE. MTBE. It has now been diagnosed, unlike broccoli sprouts, to be the most anti-cancer, as the most cancer-causing chemical humans have ever produced. So MTBE is the most cancer-causing chemical humans have ever produced. And sadly, because it's in our oil, and because years ago around the world they've convinced us they could no longer pay for people to attend gasoline pumps, that we have to pump our own gas. And when we're out there, we drop some oil or gasoline on the ground, guess where it goes? Into your water system. And then we have other large problems, like tankers being hit, or gasoline spilling, large amounts of it, where they've gone around a lot of the free world and they've actually shown us that some cities are no longer inhabitable because the water is so carcinogenic. And so there are only two forms of filtration or distillation that can be consumed today. Most of you out there today are taking bottled water and spring water. It is subject to the potential, and a very strong potential, of having this very, very, very vile cancer-causing chemical in it. If you distill, it will not have the chemical in it. A lot of people listening today are going by the old make-believe story that distilled water takes minerals out of your body. That's absurdity. Absurdity. That would mean that you literally would believe that distilled water, pure H2O, a chemical, came into the body, knocked on the cell wall, and convinced minerals to come out of the cell. If you believe that, well, you'd believe in Mickey Mouse too. Probably Mickey Mouse is a nicer thing to believe in. Next to that, the Japanese technology organized molecular structure of water. And in doing so, created what I call a supermass filtration system that charges the water. In plain English, this takes out MTBE too. We've had case after case where large gatherings of water, reservoirs of water, have been contaminated with, for instance, entire containers of this gasoline and been filtrated out with the Japanese technology. Here at Hippocrates, the one we choose is the very first and foremost, the one that the Japanese government has now mandated has to be in every spa and every pool everywhere in the country of Japan in the next few years, and that's called wellness filtration. So it's either the organized molecular structure water or distilled if you don't want to create a problem. Those of you that think you need mineral water to get minerals, you really do not. You're going to get hardening of the arteries, but you're not going to get minerals in this. One last question, if we can answer it.
Does anything happen to vegetables if you freeze them and then defrost them for consumption?
That's a very good question. Let's talk about freshness in food. When I go out and I teach little children who are about 5, they understand this instantly. If I show them a garden and say, I'm going to pick a vegetable from it, wash it off and eat it, or I'm going to take a vegetable from it and store it, which is better, all of the 5-year-olds know if I take it and eat it right away. So that's it. Fresh is instant eating. Instant fresh, we can call that one. Now, second to instant fresh certainly is raw, and the closer to that picking time that you have, the better it is for you. So many of us sitting listening today to this tape live in cold climates where vegetation isn't growing. So they may have to ship it to you, and it may be a week later after you consume it. When you look at freezing, if you took instant fresh, you had your own garden as an example, it was organic, and you went in and flash froze something, which many large companies, organic vegetable companies do, you still maintain some life in it. Now the key on freezing is how long it's frozen. Because the molecular structure of that food that was flash frozen raw literally is going to be permeated, and within about 10 days on an average, it's going to destroy most of the life force within it, if not all of the life force within it. So you know, in your freezer at home, you've often had food being burned by the cold. Well, this is what we're seeing. You're seeing an obvious example of what I'm now discussing with you. So flash frozen would do it. Slow freezing in our refrigeration pretty much neuters any nutrients within food within a matter of 24 to 48 hours. So if you take your own garden even, organic garden, and do it, no less buy vegetables and do. But let me say this to you. Those of you that are well and can eat a small amount of cooked food, the most we ever would tell anyone is 20-25% cooked food, vegetarian. Having a frozen organic vegetable within that realm, if you're well, isn't the end of the world, because you're going to, by cooking anyway, kill them to begin with. So thank you very much, and we'll go on to the next subject.